Hi, I'm Marianne Manderfield, Public Information Coordinator for the city, and today our guest is Jeremy Schoen with the Holland Department of Public Safety. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, welcome to the podcast. This is your first time here.
It is. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, today we are talking about a very special unit in Holland's Department of Public Safety, and that is the K9 unit. So start telling us a little bit about it. How many officers and how many police dogs do you have?
Sure. Currently, we run 4 police service dogs in the K9 unit. So we try to have a dog on every shift, every day of the week, except for if we're out for training or something like that. So we have 4 officers paired up with an individual dog for each officer.
Okay. And so those officers stay with that police dog 24/7, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. So each handler works just specifically with their own dog. And those dogs, they live with us. They go to every training that we go to. They work every shift with us. So, yeah, we're with them pretty much around the clock.
So, and how they go, they stay at your house. They're part of your family, and
yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep. So they live with us. Occasionally, you might see a canine cruiser that seems like it's out of its area. Probably just a canine officer headed home, and he's got his partner with him.
Okay. And how long is the training when the officer starts training his or her dog? How long does that period go for?
Yeah. So initially, when we pair a new dog with a new handler, or maybe it's a handler getting a second dog, we'll send them to a school for a month where they spend, 5-6 days a week, all day working with their dog. And then when they come back to patrol with their dog and they hop in with training with the rest of the unit, it takes us about a year to bring a dog completely up to speed. But after that first month, they're working the road and they're able to deploy. And then after that, we're just constantly honing skills. And we never stop for the duration of the dog's work life. So
okay.
After they get back, we have 2 shifts every month, or it works out to about that every other week. We spend a full day training with our dogs.
Okay. So they're lifelong learners also.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all perishable skills.
Okay. And then what does it take to be a handler?
Good question. So when we have tryouts and there's a whole interview process that we go through looking for new handlers, it's always very competitive. We get a lot of interest from within the department.
Okay.
But the things that we're looking for is people who are very driven to work with animals, who are patient and have a lot of perseverance, someone that can make good decisions on their own that doesn't always need a lot of guidance. So they're good at what they do and they're confident at making decisions, taking control of the situation, and then they just got to have a little bit of grit because it doesn't always go our way, and that can get frustrating. But you got to get out of your truck on the next call and take another swing at it.
Sure. This is going to seem like a silly question, but in terms of the home life where the dogs are at, can there be children there?
It always just depends on the dogs. We shop for dogs that have enough a social element to them. So I know all of our dogs that we have right now are very engaged with our families at home. Personally, my dog is around my kids quite a bit, but never unsupervised. Okay. But yeah, he's great with them. I mean, dogs are pack animals, so they learn their people, and they interact with them. Really, it's kind of a fantastic relationship.
Okay. Fun. That was probably a very special experience for the kids, too. I can only imagine having that at home.
I have young kids, and they're convinced that they have a police dog, and I'm not sure where I fit into that equation.
Fun. How long has Holland had the K9 unit?
So there was a K9 unit, I want to say back in the 60s for a short duration of time. That was eventually disbanded. But then the unit that we have today has been running since the year of 2000.
So quite a while.
Yeah,
then.
So quite a while. We started with 2 dogs. Actually, when I came on board, that was an expansion to the 3rd dog. And then just last year, we were able to add that 4th dog, which was really instrumental in giving the city that round-the-clock coverage, where they don't have to page in a handler from home and get that delayed response.
Sure.
So it's been really good.
So there's different areas of expertise, as I think I kind of understand it.
Yes.
And are these dogs trained in all different areas? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So our dogs are all dual-purpose dogs. So the easy way to explain that is our dogs find drugs and they find people. Within that, there's some different ways we can go about that. And that's really a wonderful way to run a dog because we can get a lot more application. We're getting more value for the money that the city's spending on these dogs because they're expensive.
Sure.
So our dogs, they do drug detection, and we work closely with the West Michigan enforcement team. So if they do a search warrant nearby or traffic stops that are associated to a drug investigation, they're oftentimes calling for us because our dogs can search, a house or a vehicle in just a fraction of the time and more accurately than hand checking.
Okay.
So we not only find more drugs using the dog versus not, but we also can expedite the whole process quite a bit. We also work closely with our tactical unit, with the special enforcement team, and deploy our dogs for various tasks within there for locating people who are trying to hide from us. And then we also use our dogs for tracking quite often. I mean, drugs and tracking are kind of our bread and butter.
Okay.
So, we track all kinds of different things from, missing persons to suspects who have fled a crime scene.
Okay.
Our dogs also are great at finding discarded evidence.
Oh, okay.
If someone is running and they throw something that would be of significance to our investigation, our dogs are very useful at locating human odor and all kinds of different places that, say in a field with tall grass, it would be very difficult for us to search.
Sure.
It doesn't make much difference to the dogs.
Okay.
So they're very useful. I could kind of go on and on about what we use them for, but I think that's a good overlook.
So you just kind of answered my next question, which was what types of calls does the unit respond to? And it sounds like
all kinds of calls. We're on patrol, so we're taking regular calls all day long that any other officer would. But then, in addition to that, if there's a felony in progress, they're sending canine. If there's a missing person who may have walked away from a house or a residence, we'll go and help on that. We help the drug team. It's kind of almost anything and everything, but it's a good way for us to serve the community in a broader spectrum that way. Okay.
So when a dog retires, because I'm guessing there's a time frame typically that the dog can serve for. Do they typically then stay with that handler's family, or?
That's very common.
Okay.
And that's the most common outcome is that when the dog finally retires, the city actually does a transfer of ownership to the handler, whomever is going to be approved to take that dog. But most generally, they stay right with the family that they've been with for years.
Okay. It's nice both ways then.
It is, yeah. I think that's the best outcome.
Yeah, that would be hard to say goodbye, I would think, if he's been
absolutely.
The dog's been a part of the family for so long. And
absolutely.
Right. There's certain breeds then that work best?
There's all kinds of breeds that work really well. We have kind of stuck with German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherds, and we actually have one right now that's a German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois mix.
Okay.
So that's kind of our wheelhouse. It's what we know. It's what's worked really well for us in the past, so we don't really see any need to reinvent the wheel on this one.
Right.
But there are other breeds that work great for this application as well.
Okay. What's something that the public may not know about canines that you'd like them to know?
I think most generally I get asked why my dog isn't out with me when I'm taking most calls.
Oh, okay.
And I think really the public maybe doesn't know fully like what we use these dogs for. I think the perception is that it's just a drug sniffing or just a bomb sniffing dog. But we use them to find articles, to find people, and so our dogs are always with us, but generally in the car. They're an amazing tool, but we can't use them on every call. One asset that these dogs give us that's very unique, different than any other tool that we have, is the ability to deploy them in a wide range of activities, anything from a community event where the dogs are in a situation that they're very approachable. If people want to come up and interact with the dogs, so long as they approach the handler and request that, we'll be able to kind of navigate that with them and let them pet our dogs and just ask the questions and answer it. But we can go from anything from a community event all the way out to a suspect apprehension. Our dogs are aggressive, but not always. When we put them into certain environments and give them certain commands, then they know that their job has now changed, and they are able to run and capture a suspect. But unlike any of our other tools, we do have the ability to recall our dogs. So if our dogs are sent on a deployment and say that a suspect gives up prior to the dog engaging with the suspect, we do have the ability to recall our dog away from that situation. And it just becomes this very dynamic deployment with a dog where we're able to escalate and de-escalate pretty rapidly. And it's really the only tool that we have where we have that ability. And so it brings just this unique presence and a unique advantage into our daily jobs in law enforcement.
Sure. They can go from a national night out, social community event to, a call with a suspect or drugs or something. Just the broad range is pretty incredible.
Yes. Such
intelligent creatures they are.
Yes, they absolutely are, and they can change gears pretty quick, and they do that really under our direction, and it's really it's a unique and very neat working relationship that we have with these dogs.
Want to kind of switch gears a little bit. You mentioned canine having the whole unit can be very expensive.
Yes.
And one of the things you guys have done in the past or are gearing up for is your golf outing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Our golf outing is actually coming up on June 28. We host it at the Meadows golf course near Grand Valley State University. This is our 12th annual golf outing, and we're rapidly growing. Most golf outings die in about 7 years.
Sure.
We actually have had to split ours into two groups because it's gotten so big, and
the
community support is really, really strong. But it's fantastic. We use 100% of the proceeds go directly to our unit.
Okay.
All of that money is marked specifically for our use, and we use that money to purchase dogs, to purchase training equipment that we need, and the training is always continuous. So if there's a new school or our annual certifications that we have to uphold, we use that money to pay for those things. And if there's a major medical expense that we didn't foresee that exceeds the finances that the city sets aside to support our unit every year, then we'll help cover that as well.
Okay.
So that golf outing is crucial for our unit to exist, because without it, I don't think that we could provide the level of service that we do today.
And is that open to anybody?
It is open to the public, yes.
Okay. Are there spots still available if somebody wanted to register? Or is it
I believe there's
filled
a
up
few.
already?
It fills up really, really fast.
Okay.
We have amazing retention with our sponsors, which has been a huge blessing. But I believe that there are still a couple of openings left. And if you are interested in signing up for the to play in our in the golf outing, or if you want to know more about just sponsoring our unit through whole sponsors or major title sponsors, we have all kinds of opportunities. And Sergeant Scott Doza, he runs our unit. He also runs the golf outing, and he would be your best point of contact for that.
Okay. And can somebody go on the website, cityofholland.com/police to find out about it, or would they call?
Yeah. I would call, and I can give you the phone number, 616-355-1100, and ask for Sergeant Scott Doza. Or you can reach him at his email, which is s.doza@cityofholland.com.
Okay. So if you want to play in this golf outing, they need to better call or email, get on it quickly.
And maybe you're interested in, I don't golf, but there's other ways that I can assist the unit. And so if you're interested in donations or whole sponsorship, or right now we're still collecting donated items for our raffle, and we have about 200 players that show up for this every year.
So that is big.
It's huge.
That is,
yeah.
Wow.
And so if any of that is of interest to someone, they can still reach out to us. The same way.
Great. Anything else you want to talk about that I haven't asked, or?
I think we've covered a lot of things. I will say that I've been on the team now for about 5 years, and it's been one of the coolest things that I've ever been able to be a part of. So to be able to partner with an animal to do a job that serves the public in a way that we're humanly incapable of, it's been a really cool experience. Very unique.
We thank you. We thank you and all of the officers and all of the police service dogs, because you are a huge asset to the community. So thank you for your service and
You're welcome.
all that you guys do.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jeremy, for joining us today on the podcast.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Sure. Until next time, this has been my Holland Update.